Part 1, The Joke. I woke to the smell of sugar. Not coffee, not toast, sugar. The heavy, buttery kind that sticks in your nose and coats your tongue before you've even opened your eyes. For a second, I thought I was still dreaming. Then I heard the clatter of pans and my wife humming in the kitchen, that same looping melody she always hums when she's up to something creative. When I shuffled out, still in pajama pants, she was standing at the counter with her back to me. The table was covered in what looked like a small crime scene made of frosting, piping bags, powdered sugar, a half-rolled sheet of fondant the color of skin. "Morning," I said, rubbing my eyes. "You baking another one of your, holy hell." I froze. On the counter beside her was a head. Mine. Perfectly molded from cake and sugar, but so detailed it made my stomach flip. The shape of the jawline, the stubble, the tiny scar near my eyebrow, she'd captured it all. The hair was sculpted from fine strands of caramel-colored fondant. Even the eyes had that slight green-gray tone I always hated because they looked indecisive. "You like it?" she asked cheerfully, finally turning around. Her apron was dusted in flour, cheeks glowing pink. "I wanted to surprise you." I laughed, too loudly. "It's disturbingly realistic." "What is this for, Halloween? An edible voodoo doll?" She tilted her head. "No. I just thought I'd try something new. Lifelike sculpting. Hyperreal fondant. It's trending online." "Well, mission accomplished. You got the hyper part right. It's like looking in a mirror that smells like vanilla." She smiled but didn't respond. Just kept smoothing the fondant at the base of the neck, her movements slow and precise, like a surgeon working without gloves. I circled the counter. The thing, me, was lying on a cake board, torso down to the waist, clothed in piped frosting shaped like my favorite t-shirt. She'd even added the faded print of the band logo, painted with food dye. My hand brushed the sugar surface and left a faint dent, soft and warm. "Don't touch," she said quickly, without looking up. "It's fragile." Her tone wasn't angry. Just sharp. Like when someone interrupts a prayer. I raised both hands. All right. Artist at work. I get it. We used to joke that her baking was the only kind of art that self-destructed. You could spend 20 hours on a cake, and by the end, it's gone, eaten, forgotten, few photos on Instagram. She said that's why she loved it, impermanence. Beauty you had to destroy to enjoy. But this cake didn't feel like that. I grabbed a coffee mug from the cabinet and glanced at her again. She hadn't stopped humming. Same melody, no breaks for breath. "Did you, use a mold for that face? Or just eyeballed it?" "I had references," she said, still smoothing. "Lots of references." She didn't explain further. The longer I stared, the more it unsettled me. Not because it was grotesque, it wasn't. It was too perfect. My own face had that slight asymmetry I'd always noticed in mirrors, one eyebrow slightly higher, lips uneven. The fondant version had both sides perfectly aligned, like she'd corrected me. "You made me better looking," I joked. "Thanks, honey." She paused mid-motion, her hand hovering above the cake. For a heartbeat, the air felt heavier, too still. Then she smiled again, gentle as ever. "You think so?" "Definitely. Maybe you should make a whole new me out of fondant. One that doesn't leave socks on the floor." She laughed softly. But her eyes didn't join in. Later that day, I went about my usual routine. She stayed in the kitchen the entire time, working. Every so often, I'd hear the faint hiss of the piping bag, the hum of her electric mixer, and her voice, singing that same looping tune under her breath. When I peeked in around noon, she'd added finishing touches to the me cake, a full torso, arms, hands resting peacefully on its sides. It was lying flat now, as if asleep. "Well," I said, trying to sound impressed and not unnerved. "You could sell this to a museum. Or donate it to science fiction." She didn't look up. "Almost done. Needs to set overnight." "Set? Like concrete. Something like that. Her tone was offhand, but her fingers trembled slightly as she smoothed another layer of glaze over the chest. For a second, I thought she whispered something to it. Not to me, to it. A murmur I couldn't catch, just under her breath. That was the moment I realized she hadn't looked me directly in the eyes since morning. That evening, she called me for dinner, soup and bread. Simple. She said she didn't want to cook much after baking all day. I sat across from her, sipping soup, watching her face in the candlelight. She smiled often, but it didn't reach her eyes. So, I said lightly, what happens to Cake Me now? Birthday surprise? Instagram fame? Local news headline, wife creates disturbingly real edible husband. Something like that. Her spoon clinked against the bowl. I chuckled. You should put it on display. Maybe at that bakery on Maple Street. Imagine people's faces when they realize it's edible. She nodded, but her gaze was fixed just past my shoulder. Hey. I waved a hand. You okay? MMHM. She smiled again. Just tired. Long day. I reached across the table, touched her hand. It was cold, colder than it should have been. When I went to bed, the house smelled stronger. Sugar, again. But underneath it, dampness, like wet cloth or raw dough. She stayed downstairs, said she needed to check the glaze. I kissed her cheek, cool and sweet, like frosting, and went to lie down. Sleep wouldn't come. The hum of the refrigerator sounded louder than usual, rhythmic, like breathing. I thought I heard footsteps in the kitchen, slow, dragging, deliberate. Finally, I got up and went downstairs. The kitchen light was on. The cake was gone. In its place stood a covered tray, the metal lid domed and shining. A faint drop of syrup dripped down its side, thick and pale. Babe? I called. She appeared from the hallway, still in her apron, hands clean now, hair neatly tied back. Too neat. Don't worry, she said softly. It's chilling. You'll see tomorrow. Her tone was gentle, reassuring, but something about her eyes stopped me. They looked satisfied. Like someone after a meal. I laughed weakly. You really put your heart into this one, huh? Her smile widened. All of me. That night, I dreamed of sugar melting. My hands stuck together like caramel. When I tried to peel them apart, strips of frosting came off with skin-colored crumbs underneath. When I woke up, my pillow smelled faintly of vanilla. And there was a tiny white smear on my wrist, glossy, smooth, and sweet to the touch. Part 3, the consumption. The front door opened upstairs. Footsteps, real ones, firm, human, echoed faintly across the living room ceiling. Hey, honey? I'm home early. My stomach dropped. That voice, my voice. I turned my head, the motion slow, stiff, like a marionette on thick strings. The seams along my neck tugged faintly. A soft crackle, like sugar fracturing, filled my ears. She smiled, smoothing the edge of my arm with her palm. Shh, she whispered. Don't strain yourself. You'll crumble. You said, I rasped. Your husband? She nodded gently. Yes. He's the real one. I stared at her. My tongue felt thick, coated. It moved sluggishly in my mouth. Then, what am I? Her gaze softened. You practice. And dessert. I wanted to scream, to thrash, to do anything. But all I could do was lie there and listen as the real man, the real me, whistled upstairs, tossing his keys onto the counter, humming that same stupid tune she always hummed. He sounded happy. How was the trip? She called out. Her voice was light, casual, the tone of a wife greeting her husband after a long weekend apart. Good. Long drive. Missed you. Her smile widened. Dinner's ready. She reached for a long silver knife resting beside the counter. Its reflection flashed briefly in the light, and for a second, I thought I saw my own distorted face inside the blade, smiling back. She tested the edge with her thumb, then wiped it on her apron. "Please," I whispered, barely audible. "Don't." Her eyes met mine, and something gentle passed through them. Not cruelty, admiration. "You turned out beautiful," she said. The first one that spoke. "I almost don't want to ruin it." "Then don't." She tilted her head, that patient, sweet smile returning. "But beauty means nothing if you can't taste it." She began at the shoulder. I didn't feel pain, not in the normal way. It was more like pressure, warmth spreading through sugar and air. The knife slid through easily. I heard it, that faint crystalline sound, like a shell cracking. The smell of buttercream filled the room again, rich and suffocating. She cut slowly, delicately, lifting each piece with care, setting it on a white plate beside me. "You always said you wanted to be remembered," she murmured. "This way, you'll never leave." I couldn't look, but I could hear the soft clink of the fork, the faint hum of pleasure as she took her first bite. Sweetness, chewing, swallowing. Then again. She ate quietly, gracefully, like someone savoring an expensive dessert. Between bites, she whispered, "Do you know why I bake?" I didn't answer. Because baking is creation. Every cake starts as nothing, just dust and air. But when the heat touches it, it becomes something alive. Her fork scraped porcelain. "You were my masterpiece." The knife glided again, gentle and steady. I felt something shift in my chest, the hollow space where a heartbeat should have been, soft and crumbly now. "Stop," I tried to say, but my voice collapsed halfway, syrup clogging my throat. She leaned close, brushing crumbs from my lips. "You're quiet. That's new." Her face filled my vision, serene, doll-like. A faint shimmer of sugar glaze glistened on her skin. Her breath smelled like vanilla and iron. "Do you love me?" she asked suddenly. I couldn't answer. She smiled, as if I had. "I know you do. You taste like it." Upstairs, the real husband moved around, opening drawers, setting down luggage, whistling off-key. Each familiar noise twisted deeper into me. He was humming the same tune she'd been humming for days. The sound of normal life, replayed over the corpse of something unreal. My vision began to blur at the edges. The ceiling light haloed out, blooming into a bright, wet glow. She placed another piece on her plate, sighed softly. "Too sweet," she murmured. "Next time, I'll use less sugar." Her tone wasn't cold, just practical, thoughtful, like a chef adjusting a recipe. She glanced toward the ceiling, listening to the footsteps above. "It's early. I wasn't finished yet." Her eyes came back to me. "But you understand, don't you? It has to be perfect." I tried to move my hand, the one she hadn't touched yet. It twitched, barely. My fingers left shallow dents on the tablecloth. She caught the motion. For the first time, something like tenderness crossed her face. "It's okay," she whispered. "You'll be together soon." The front door closed again upstairs, his voice moving closer now, down the hall, toward the kitchen. "Something smells amazing." Her eyes sparkled. She leaned in, kissed my forehead, cold lips, faintly sweet. "Showtime," she whispered. I wanted to scream at him to run. To get out. To see. But my mouth wouldn't open anymore. The edges had hardened, sealed shut. The doorknob rattled. "Hey, babe, oh, wow." He stepped into the kitchen, stopping mid-sentence. For a heartbeat, I saw him clearly, tired from travel, sunburned, smiling. Me before the sugar. On the table before him, a half-eaten cake, shaped like a man. "Holy," he laughed. "That's insane. It looks exactly like you," she finished softly. "Yeah. That's creepy." He chuckled, stepping closer. "You made this?" She nodded, her smile warm, perfect. I tried to make a sound, a whisper, a breath, but only a faint crackle came out, like icing cooling. He didn't notice. "Smells great," he said, leaning down to sniff. "You've outdone yourself." She reached for the knife again. "You should try a piece." He hesitated. "Isn't it weird eating me?" She laughed, the same light laugh I'd heard 100 times before. "It's just cake." He shrugged. "All right, one bite." The knife slid through what was left of my arm. She placed the slice gently on a plate, handed it to him. He tasted it. Smiled. "That's incredible." She watched him closely. "Do you like it?" He nodded. "Perfect texture. Kinda warm still." Her eyes softened. "That's how I like it." She leaned forward and kissed him. He didn't see the smear of icing she left on his chin, or how her tongue lingered a little too long when she licked it away. He didn't notice the faint glaze still shining on her fingers, or the way her pupils dilated as she watched him chew. He didn't see me, the unfinished half of me, slide slowly off the edge of the table, landing in the trash can below with a dull, heavy thud. I saw him smile at her. Heard him say, "You're amazing." And I wanted to laugh, but my mouth had already hardened shut. Above me, the kitchen light dimmed. The refrigerator hummed softly, a lullaby for the leftovers. She whispered something in his ear, something that made him laugh again, easy, trusting. Then the trash lid closed. Darkness. A faint warmth spread through the air, the heat of two bodies embracing, of domestic peace restored. From somewhere above, I heard her voice, soft and satisfied. "My favorite part," she said, "is always the first bite."